freaking excited. The sound is like so different, and
I know.
I can't even.
I know.
Okay.
And it's free. Okay. So you go ahead and talk now.
Hello. Welcome, everybody. This is a preset thing for a real show going on because we are planting the seeds. This is a practice, but I feel like, you're playing around, you're thinking you're doing practice. Next thing you know, it's like, things happening.
Yeah, that's kind of how I felt about the videos, or you're making many of them. The one video I participated with you on is like, we never know what seeds those are planting out there. And that's what what words are powerful and words are spells. And I'm learning that immensely. So part of the time I just want to be like, oh, why is this so exhausting and tiring?
To be a human?
To be a human. Yes. Like, to unlearn, to just try to get back to ground zero. I know it's possible, but it's I don't know.
Well, would you consider yourself as a starseed? Do you think your soul is not the human soul? Do you feel when you were growing up, were you feeling like as a black sheep, you don't fit in, no one understands you, kind of?
I've thought about that a lot because that comes up a lot. I don't know how many people have said this too, but like our community at Your Cosmic Connection. I was sitting there one day on a Friday coffee, and I just got this big grin on my face because I'm like, this is the land of misfits.
Oh yeah, you're right.
Like, everyone in that room, I feel, says that about themselves, that I fit in here, right? So the land of misfits. And I love, who doesn't love the land of misfits? And it's like a couple things. One, I don't remember much of my childhood. I have glimpses, but I don't have much memory of it.
Interesting.
You call it a strength, a skill, a talent, just something that's a part of me. I can adapt anywhere. And so, in a way, I don't fit in anywhere, but I fit in everywhere.
Gotcha, yeah.
Even though I'm there and I can fit in. Like, what was going through my head right there was like, I could hang out with a bunch of Hell's Angels. Right? All them in their motorcycle tire and stuff. I could hang out at a bar and shoot some pool, and I could do that. And then I can sit in, a Buddhist temple and have silence, and I can do that. Like, so I'm trying to find extremes there to just say, I guess I never felt I fit in, but I always fit in.
That makes sense, to me at least.
Good. Thank you.
But do you always feel comfortable in any kind of environment?
I find comfort in the environment. It doesn't mean I walk in with comfort. It takes me a bit to feel the energy of the environment and what's going on and kind of what's it calling for, and then I can adapt. So no, it's not immediate, but I'm fully aware when I'm not. Like, when I walk into Cosmic Connection, like, it's just me. I just flow in. No matter what a shitty day I've had or something, or my mindset's not right there. Like, I just slide in. So I fit in there. I don't slide into many places, and but I can get there. And I don't think people think that I have an issue. Except for Troy. Troy knows when I'm like, I'll be like, I don't know about this place. I'm not feeling it. Or, I'm just like, let me get there. And he's like, you okay? And I'll be like, I will be.
So you're more like adjusting your energy field based on the frequency of the environment?
Yeah. And that's what I did as a child all the time.
Is it comfortable for you to adjust your energy field? I mean, in terms of like, are you jumping frequencies, higher frequency, lower frequency, how low you can go?
Yeah, I was doing that. I was doing my manics and depressants up until probably, and I didn't realize that that's what I was doing, because you feel like we're always kind of, the body's always looking for homeostasis, right? Balance, balance. And the mind can then go into a place where it's like, this is what's going to get us balance. So we go seek it, but the mind's telling us, not the heart. And it gets us even more off balance. And that's kind of what I did, is seeking the manics, the highs, the blissfuls, those, because that's a wonderful place to be. But with every high comes then just as much low.
Right.
Yeah. And so that's kind of how my life has been, is with highs and lows. And when I say the words manic and depressant, I'm not going full extremes that you can see in others. But now I'm finding my neutrality. And so it doesn't take as much effort. Like I went to a friend's house at a poker game Saturday night, and it was so much, I enjoyed it so much. When I got there, like I knew 2-3 people. That's it. And they were all out on the deck, or, they were all there gathering and talking and doing that before we started. And I just chilled in the house, because I was just like, I'm just not feeling that social thing yet. But I sat there and I got into my awareness of, it's a poker game. It's going to be fun. Like, I just had to mentally kind of get myself, because the vibration that I'm around is just different than I am. And I get really aware of that.
Because for me personally, I work in arenas and stadiums, and it's like, well, interestingly enough, I do pop into conscious people working those areas.
Really?
And now if I track back, at least one person. Every time I work somewhere, at least one person. But majority is, you can call it NPCs, you can be normies, sleepers, whatever, and it's like, when I'm in that environment, if I don't have anyone to bounce off the conscious awareness vibes, I do, interesting. I don't know if I do, well, I drop in frequencies, definitely, because I'm head on in 3D doing the tasks, and there is no feeling of, thinking about bigger picture, where you're just like really in it. And I caught myself, I was just experimenting. I would go to oh my God, I had just deja vu that we're doing this. Exactly this moment. Holy shit. I dreamt 5 years ago, I dreamt this. I have this thing where all of a sudden it's deja vu, and it's like, oh my God. And just number 5 popped in the dream. Just wow. So basically it's when I'm like kind of like in the 3D, just plummet down ish. When I go to the bathroom, when I'm not like super surrounded by everything, I try to kind of experimentally raise my frequency and be like, oh, the meditation or affirmations or something. And it's like literally cuts me off. It's impossible, because the collective field is so saturated in certain frequency that me trying to cut out and climb out, it's impossible. And I am aware of it. I'm not upset or anything. No. Obviously, it's my choice, being there. But it's kind of like, I was like, wow, this is so interesting,
That is very interesting. And that helps me, because I feel that in certain places too, where I'm like, all right, I'm going to do my affirmation in my head, which I do. I'll do different things internally when I'm around a bunch of people that, I'll do a lot. I was doing my muscle testing at the poker game a little bit, just to, anyhow, and that helps to know that sometimes the energy that is in the collective, what did Candy call them? There's a name for that kind. There's a name that you can call it, just an energy. It's not the collective energy. It's just like the energy in a house. In a house or something. It's just the energy. But it can be Yeah, you just got to be within that and find the light and that just,
And
because I don't think you would be any different when you're interacting with people at your work, right? You're smiling and friendly and caring.
I mean, just being me,
you're just you. Yeah.
But when I strike a conversation with clients, you know, it's because, as I said, majority of them are asleep. And then I start talking about stuff, and then I talked to someone like a couple days ago, and I bartend, so it's like, you know, they're, I mean, they'll loosen up, you know, and have a couple drinks, so it's kind of like you can talk to it. But then I was saying that, what we talked about, we just start talking about heat, like Phoenix heat, and you know, summer, whatever, and then the conversation led me to. I was like, yeah, I went to Sedona, and I went to the Cathedral Rock. And then I was called to, I'm like, oh, I had Lemurian quartz crystal with me. I don't know if that person is listening to me, if they even have an like clue what I'm talking about. But I was like, whatever, I'm just gonna spit it out, because I notice often when I do that, even if they don't understand at that moment, I'm literally planting the seed, and maybe it's gonna click 2 years later, 3 years later, it doesn't matter. So I'm like, yeah, I'm like, oh, I pulled out my Lemurian crystal quartz, and I sat there in meditation, and I channeled the light language. And I was like, well, light language is the information that comes through, and it surpasses your language centers in your brain, with the purpose for you to not to understand it, because then then our egoic mind kicks in, and then we start analyzing things, then we start judging things, then we start like plugging in our belief systems, and that's the reason for light language, not to understand it, so you can directly receive the codes from the source. So when I do the light language, and I explaining him, I was like, it consists of light code, sound, vibration, frequency, and sacred geometry. For us, sacred, like, you know what sacred geometry, I know what sacred geometry. For them, I'm like, I don't know if I'm speaking foreign language to them, but I'm just like spitting it out, see what happens, you know? And I was like, yeah, I start channeling the light language. And when I pulled out my crystal, I was called to put it on the ground. And I kind of like, before I did that, I always like kind of feel the area where to sit. And I sat there, and I put my crystal there in the ground, and I was like, connect to Mount Shasta in California.
Oh,
Mount Shasta. And I'm like, and I'm like closing my eyes and like sending the energy to the ley lines. And I was like, whatever the reason is to have this connection between those two sacred sites. And I'm just doing there with the confidence, you know, that I can do that. And my mind is like, no, you can't. I'm like, shut up. Just doing my stuff. And when I was at Mount Shasta, first time in my life, last October, or 2024, I had this session, really cool session, with this guy, Paul from Venus, and he's Venusian. And he kind of like took us in the ruins of the Temple of Love from Lemuria. And we sat there. It was me, another lady, and him. And we had like these really cool revelations, lots of healing. And he kind of opened a space, held the space for us, tapping into higher dimensions. And he's like, yeah, bring your crystals to charge. So I'm like, you know, putting all my crystals there. And then when we're done, when I'm leaving, I'm picking up the crystals, and I have this one little yellow one that's, I forgot what it's called, some kind of jade probably. And it was for more like fun, kind of like igniting this like inner child possibly. And I'm putting my crystals back, and that one jumps out, and I'm like, oh, you want to stay here? Okay, cool. And I just take it, and there's like a bunch of rocks, so I tuck it under. So that's my walkie-talkie with Mount Shasta, because we're connected. So when I was doing the Lemurian crystal, I'm like, immediately remember my little yellow one. I was like, hey, connecting to it. So kind of doing these like transmissions. And I have another crystal hidden in Mexico, 2 hours south from Mexico City, in the area called Tepoztlan.
Okay.
And that is the place. So we went in this mountain. You kind of go over the hill through the woods in the mountain, and there's a sacred area where tourists are not allowed to go. But my friend, she's kind of not local, but she lived in the area, so she knows. So she was able to find a guy who would tourist. So it was just two of us going to the place. And it's like there's this rock that looks like a dog, and you need to like ask permission to enter. And then also you bring offering to the place. So, and we're going there. We get there, there's like really cool like cliffs, and then a small waterfall, and then the water there, like a pond, and then more trees around. And I think I had a tangerine and crystals. I'm like offering tangerine. I was like, eh. And then I'm going through the crystals. I'm like, okay, which one feels good to leave? And it was this oval black with a little silver speckles. Again, don't remember what it's called, but I was like, oh my God, you do feel great to stay here. So and again, I'm connected to the crystal already. So I'm offering this crystal as an offering, and I put it, there's a big tree, and I put it on, the tree was kind of elevated, so I put it under the roots, kind of like tuck it in so no one can see that. And I was like, no one's probably going to find it, but whatever. So that's my walkie-talkie with the place. And the place, the Tepoztlan, is the birthplace for the serpent god of Quetzalcoatl.
Okay, I don't know who that is.
So if you would see this like Aztec stuff, if you would see it, you would recognize it because it's pretty popular in terms of like Aztec drawings and whatnot.
Okay.
Yeah, and we went to, there was a ruins of his house when he was born, and I took a photo. I was like, oh, this is so cool. And now it's like, was like 3 years ago, 3 years ago, I think, or two. Something like that. Now when I'm like more and more becoming more conscious, more aware of a lot of things, I was like, that was a very sacred trip, actually. Super cool. And then the place where we stayed, I'm like, if this goes somewhere public, I'm like highly recommending. It's called Hostel de la Luz. Luz is light. It's not a hostel. I don't know why I call it hostel, but it's great quality place. You can your rooms are little, you can have it almost like a little house to rent. It's just a room, or rooms as a hotel room, but the building has I don't know, maybe 4 rooms, 6 rooms, and then another building, so it's very private. And the guy who built the place, my gosh, there is what is it called, the labyrinth, the Rose Labyrinth. So he received from his higher self or guides that he needs to build this Rose Labyrinth over there. He was shown how to do it. So it's a copy of the labyrinth that's in some kind of cathedral, and the origin is from like 4th century.
Wow.
And I walked it, and you have to walk it with your eyes closed, and it's such an interesting journey. They have the sweat lodges there. What is it called? Mezcal is the liquor. Temazcal. Sweat lodge with shaman. You go in. We different kind of sweat lodges. We chose the one with the because it's a birthplace of Quetzalcoatl, the serpent god. We had a sweat lodge with when you go through the process, there is a slide to the pool, and you slide through the dragon's mouth. I'll show you a video. This stuff is so cool. And basically, no one speaks English there. My friend, she's from there, so she speaks Spanish, and she was translating to me. And so basically, we go there, and then shaman tells us like the process, what are we gonna do? And he's like shows a specific way of breathing, and he's like, when you go in, the energy gonna start moving, and he's like, do not stop the specific breathing, because the mind kind of like, or the body is like, what the heck is going on with me? I was like, no, just go through. And the place it's kind of like the sweat lodge itself. It's round. It's round, and then roof is like this, and then the seats are on the sides, curved. So I was sitting on one, my friend was sitting on another one, and the shaman is in the middle. I think he might have drum. He had some shakers, he had some herbs, and he just started the whole ceremony. He was chanting and just, I don't know, probably calling spirits and whatnot. And I start breathing, and like, I don't know, 5-10 minutes in, your body becomes so tingling. It's kind of like when have you done breath work?
Mm-hmm.
Kind of like that, but different. And I was like, oh, this is the energy what he was talking about. And you feel it in your whole being, and you're like, okay, it feels a little uncomfortable, but I was like, I'm just gonna go through it. And you breathe through and just go, like, you kind of get in a trance. And my friend, she has interesting life in general, but she has a lot of darkness in her, a lot of pain, and she was releasing it. But thankfully, Shaman, I'm like, I so feel people's energies, and thankfully, Shaman was in the middle, so he was kind of absorbing it and transmuting it, because she is right in front of me, and he's like, open up your legs, we're in swimming suits, but it's like, move the energy. And I know she has like a lot of something with sexual, I don't think she was abused, but there's something that she's, I don't know, just, it's very deep, very complicated, and I feel the shit is coming out of her. I was like, oh, thank God, the shaman is between those. I'm like, I don't want her stuff. I have plenty of my own, And then it's just the process. It's going so beautifully. And interesting stuff was that the last 15 minutes, I start howling as a wolf.
Wow.
And it felt amazing. And I was like, I don't care what other people around think, because the room's kind of close by, so you can hear. And I was like, hello! And I just sitting there howling it out. And then at the end, he gave us like these aloe vera, like a big leaves, and they were cut in half, and we had to kind of wash ourselves with those leaves, with the gooey part. And I was like, oh, this is a rebirth, because when the child is born, it has that stuff on it. And I was like, oh, we're cleansing, we're like going through the rebirth, and then we slide through the slide in the pool. So it's literally a rebirth process. And we go there, and then when we're done, we just sit outside. He gave us some herbal tea, blankets, and then he was chanting some kind of these like lullabies. And I didn't understand it, but I felt it, and it was like so beautiful. So the place is magical. If it's not cheap, but it's not super expensive. The food is fabulous. They have a chakra pool where you can move again in a ceremonial way through area where there's like seats with the color of chakra, and you sit, and then based on the chakra, the water comes, like a root chakra comes from the bottom, and then the heart chakra, I think it was like coming from both sides, and then at the end there's like not a waterfall, but like water coming, cleansing your crown. And then you sit in each position, each place for 2 minutes, and then the lady she rings a bell when to change the area. There's some other stuff, and it's like there's Merkaba, there's this labyrinth, there's a Shiva statue, there's other things, there's massages and meditation room and like other sacred things. And I'm just walking through it. I was like, oh my God, this is so amazing. My friend, she's not awake to the stuff. She went more for like cool massages, stuff like that. Spirituality was not her. Not
But
her.
she did the sweat love.
She did, because I mean it's kind of like Mexican thing, and it's like.
So, it's how, you're cleansing your body through
everything.
The sweat. But did she experience anything?
She did. She was howling and mowing because she felt physical pain. But I know that she's also a big drama queen, so she added extra vocals to kind of like express herself. But this is how she is and whatever. I'm sure that it did some cleansing for her. But interesting thing is that she had a reading the year prior with a psychic or a witch, whatever, who lives locally. And she said that my friend in her past life was kind of like a witch or whatever over there in that particular area. And she was doing some dark stuff. And now she's paying for it. And that's why her, like, the health and whatever, the mental state, she's been depressed since she was a child. And it's like, yeah, but it's like, well, you need to take responsibility if you are aware of it, because if you're not aware of it, you're going to be in victim mode. You're like, oh, poor me, right? I'm suffering. Right. But now when it's like a little more awareness pops in, it's like, well, that's what is called karma in a sense, because now you're doing some dark stuff and hurting other people. Now you're hurt by your own actions.
Right. So, I guess I agree. I mean, that's past live information is very educational for oneself, to get to know oneself. And when people aren't in a full receiving mode of that, I can understand where people would be like, oh, that was a past life. How can I be held responsible for something I did back then when I don't even know about it? You had to tell me about it. Like, I can see where and in a way they can be kind of right. It's like,
but that's the thing, that your spirit and your soul is the same. You have just different body, different identity and personality, but it's the same. So sometimes, like, even if I don't remember, how can I take responsibility for it? But that's the process of you remembering where you're coming from. And then I think that not necessarily you need to really struggle through it because of the past life. It's like, I feel like more for the soul purpose is the first thing you remember, you become aware of what happened past life, and then you can clear your karma in a pretty quickly way. And I think that goes through, because again, it's like, we're not created to suffer.
Right. No.
So
is it pain is inevitable, suffering is optional.
That's yes. But then let's say you remember your or parts of your past life, or you have awareness that you did something bad, but you don't remember what you did. I think the next process for the soul evolution in general is realize those things, become aware of it, understand that this is a playground. It's just you're learning different aspects of being a human. And then the highest mastery is to become non-judgmental, and then forgive yourself for what you did. And then that way you clear your karma.
Yeah.
That's what I believe.
Yeah. Well, and there's also, I agree. I mean, but like what you said, our spirit and body remembers everything. That's what the subconscious is. So past lives are also part of that subconscious that we're all working on. And I took a class, it's a really good class, called Understanding is Salvation. And I remember the handout. The bottom part is your subconscious, and that's what initiates. And then the top part is the consciousness, which is the responder, right? Yeah. And so what we're aiming for, we being all of us at different ways and different levels of this, but what we're doing is we're either letting the subconscious be the primary driver of us and not just autopilot. Just autopilot, or be fully aware of like, oh, you're trying to take that route. You're trying to, And so I think past lives feed into that. That's my opinion. I don't know if that's true, because it's just all energy, but that's how I feel like, because I don't know really anything about past lives for me.
I have glimpses, but not like seeing myself doing things. Is just that, like, inner knowing about stuff, or like when I do in meditations, when you have to go, not have to, but when you're going to like specific area, like shamanic journeys, right? It's usually, it's like, oh, you go, you see yourself in a field, and then you see a big tree in front of you, and then you can go in underworld through the tree, or upper world. And I'm always ending up in the same place. It's a big valley, grassy valley with flowers, and big mountain range around, and the tree is in the middle. And then depends what I'm working on, things change a little bit, but always the same place. And I bet that place exists, you know, because why my consciousness or consciousness will take me always the same place.
Yeah. Mine's always underground.
Underground?
Yeah. Yeah. Because like I said, I don't remember. I've done 2 QHHT sessions and 2 hypnosis, but I would call them they're light. They weren't. And then I've done 3 ayahuasca ceremonies and I don't know, maybe 5 different psilocybin ceremonies that were heavy enough for elevated consciousness, I guess you could call that. But yeah, and through all of that, my past lives I could put on one hand that I've been told. I was killed in the Western time because I was trying to protect the children. I was told that 2 different times by 2 different people. And then the rest of it is just mainly in tunnels. Like one I had, it was almost like I was a troll. Yeah. It was just tunnels underneath, tunnels. Oh, tunnels. So I must have lived underground quite a bit.
Well, maybe you were like part of the fairy fairs or whatever it's called. And then the gnomes, and I feel like they live
the elementals.
Yeah, I feel like they live more underground.
Yeah.
Or when you
Very
said underground, I felt again like in Egypt, you know, the river of death, and who was Anubis, right? Anubis was the one who was transferring souls from the living world to the death world, dream world, whatever. The Egyptian god with the dog or wolf face.
Okay.
Anubis.
And
I think it was him who there's a river, and then when person dies, the soul gets to the river, and then I think it's Anubis. There's a boat, like a long, Egyptian longboat, and then the soul gets on, and then it transfers the soul to the astral world or whatever the soul goes after death. But I see that one always as like underground river, although Nile is not underground. I mean, partially maybe.
Yeah, it depends on how you look at it, right? Because underground can still be, there's still an opening, but you're underground, right? In a way. Because if you're at the bottom of a cliff and you look up, even though it's wide open, aren't you kind of underground?
Sure. Yeah.
You're under some sort of ground that was there before. I don't know. No, I think past lives, I think that's one of many avenues for people to, because it drives me crazy when I hear this, and I'm about to say this, but it's like to really know thyself. That is what we are seeking, is to know thyself. And we are on this earth, like you said, as a playground, and we can choose to play and have fun to get to know thyself, or we can choose the suffering and the misery to get to know thyself. Either way, we're getting to, and generally it's both. I would say generally it's both, because given the laws of, balance, or that's not the right word, but there's always cause and effect. Yeah, I learned that a couple of years ago, that the utopian state of being, this world is not ready for. I think that's the thing that I feel, and it sounds very egotistical, that it's not coming from ego, because I think I've been trying to I've just written it down at work so many times, and I've written it in my journal, just like, they're not ready for me.
People?
I don't know who they are.
So, I mean, not just society, people. So, I'm gonna plug in this thing. And I reposted, someone posted on TikTok, interview with Alex. forgot his last name, Kohler, something like that. So he is direct contactee with Lyrans. And the interview is from 1994.
Oh, I saw you post a couple of those. I listened to one. Okay, so now I have the picture of the gentleman.
I used the ChatGPT to, I'm like, I want to see the whole interview, and it's on YouTube. It's 2 hours, and I started listening it when I was driving here. Amazing stuff. And he's basically talking about that Lyrans, I'd say Lyrans seeded the humanity. And then he's talking about the Orion Wars with Draconians, Reptilians, between Lyrans and those guys. Those wars were going on for 600,000 years. They destroyed the Lyran planet. So Lyrans took refuge in other planets, and they're mostly residing in Andromeda Galaxy now. He's talking about different kind of races. He's talking about that Lyrans are in spiritual involvement, or spiritual evolution. They're ahead of people for 4,700 years. In technology, they're evolved 50,000 years, I think, something like that, ahead of us. And they're using the technology for, the main reason is to help them to spiritually evolve versus, and he said that they can use it, like if they need to protect themselves, they can use that technology. But they're going to, again, it's kind of like split in dimensions. They're residing in more like 4th, 5th, 6th dimension. And then they're aiming for higher. And then the beings who are in the higher dimensions, they don't have physical bodies because you don't need it. And you're more like plasma and light. And the guy who was interviewing him was like, so what's the goal of spiritual involvement? And I understand it's just to evolve. There is no like ending, because
that's infinite. Huh?
The dimensions, if you look at the Kabbalah, there's these circles. So there are 12, but if you look at the pictures of old Kabbalah, the one circle was taken out, and those are, my understanding, they are stargates, but they're also connected to other dimensions. And the Draconians, Reptilians, they kind of blocked or blew up the one stargate, something like that. It's very complex to understand for us, but basically we're kind of going there. But then he's talking about the Greys, he's talking about the Reptilians, the time travel. He's saying that time travel, it's very easy, and they go back in time and alternate the future. And then he's talking about the evolvement in consciousness in general, about the humanity. And it's like 1994, right? So he's saying that we need to hurry up as humans to expand our consciousness by July, August in 2001. And the guy is asking, so what's going to happen at that time? He's like, he didn't say anything like specific, but he said that we are building our future. And then September 2001, what happened? So I feel like we were rushed to evolve, consciously wake up, but then they do 9/11, and everyone is fucking depressed,
Fear.
Interference.
Just that insertion.
Yeah, because they did know that that's cutoff time in August. And
so they got an extension.
So, and they do that stuff. Now we're kind of in the loop again, evolving. And then he was talking about we were like, humans don't want to take responsibility for themselves in expanding the consciousness and growing up, and we want to be saved. But when you ask someone to save you, it's interfering with your own evolution, and then you're just kind of like stuck. And he said that basically humanity is very stuck. And it was 31 years ago on the interview. But it's like, I feel like, okay, we're moving forward. We are waking up. This is the next, I feel like, next quantum leap. Because something happened in 2012. Maybe he will mention it. I didn't listen to the whole thing. And just like, I don't know, it's like all the information that I have in my head, and then when I'm listening to this guy and others, I was like, oh my god, this is so making sense. Like if you ever read Raw Material, the humble messenger of Law of One, they're talking about stuff like that too. So basically, as humans, we're stuck. We're not evolving. He was saying, oh, normie. He didn't say normie, but like normie is just, oh, I want to pay my bills on time, my mortgage, and make sure kids get to school, and nothing else interests you. There's no spirituality. You're just like programmed to stay in the lower frequencies. Just that physical existence. And then he was talking about the Earth itself. She wants to evolve and wake up and expand in consciousness. But humans, we're like fleas on the planet.
Yes, we are.
And we are not allowing that to happen because our consciousness interferes with the consciousness of the Earth. So he was saying in that interview, he said, it's either we pick up on consciousness and we evolve, or basically humanity needs to be removed. And the guy who's interviewing, he's like, cleansed? And he's like, well, you can call it that way. But basically what happened to Lemurians, what happened to Atlantis, they got removed, meaning destroyed.
Yeah.
And this is the first time we made that far in physical bodies without being destroyed and reset.
Yeah.
So I feel like now in like, what are we, 2025 now, we're moving forward, but that's why the darkness, they were like, oh shit, humans are waking up, let's plug in all this like crap in it. And that's why, poisoning water, poisoning food, poisoning everything, just name it. Like in any avenue of human life, there is stuff that to stop you raise your frequency. Clothing, I don't know, music, frequencies, 5G towers, they're trying everything to stop us. But if you look from that perspective, we're freaking resilient. We're still moving forward. We're still the ones who are awakened now. We're pulling the whole thing, and I think we are already past the tipping point. I think it's just now it's going to create a snowball effect in a good way.
Yeah. I thank you for sharing that. I've heard, I'll have to listen to him. Like I said, I listened to a couple of your video, or one of the videos you sent, or you posted, and then it's like, oh,
I'll send you the link, because he goes on motherships. He's hanging out with them. They're giving him information. The guy was asking, the guy who was interviewing him, asking how they look like, and what's the character, and he's talking about one of the guys, I forgot his name, he's like 4'11", tall, very straightforward, very humble, very benevolent being. And he's like, yeah, well, we're, walking around the mothership, blah, blah, going to the rooms. I was like, I'm so jealous, I want to do that too. And he's like, well, at that time I was very depressed and very sad. And then when I'm leaving, the guy tells him, he said, the love that you withhold is the pain that you carry. And I was like, oh, such truth.
So true. It is so true.
Yeah. Again, the balance. The more you allow yourself to love, the less pain you would feel, in a sense.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh my God, I've been holding it back for a long time. And I've been single for like 5 years probably. Yeah, 5 years. And I'm like, I know when I'm in a relationship, I'm like, that's my essence come through. I'm like showering people with love and just becoming so funny, and just flows and playfulness comes out. But I need the other person. And a lot of people say, oh no, you're whole, you don't need it. But if I look at my human design, it's like the split definition. That means to create complete energy circuit, I do need another person. And it's not because I don't want to take responsibility. It's just like I can squeeze things out of me, but it's not going to be the same natural flow. So I do need another person.
Me too.
Yeah.
Yeah, me too. I've always been that way.
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't ever.
I have your human design on my.
Yeah, you do.
App, and you can look at the definition. Yeah. Because some people, it's the single definition. That means they have the energy circuit their own, and they can. I see it as when you do a project, like they can start and they can finish. And for me, I notice when I do something start and I'm halfway through, and all of a sudden I was like, oh, I have no energy. and often I would like not finish it and maybe come back in like 2-3 years and then finish it. But I was doing something yesterday and I was like, I'm aware of it that I'm already maxed out.
Yeah.
And I'm about to give up on the most important part, like the reason why I'm doing this project. I'm like, no. Okay, you split definition, but you push yourself through, because what's the point of doing it if, you know.
That's so cool.
So,
it's beautiful to have awareness of yourself of like in that fashion, isn't it? Yeah. Because getting back to kind of the original question you asked about, like, am I a starseed? Right. Seeking, because I can see you in, you know, an auditorium or, you know, at your job. I don't know exactly what you do. You are a bartender there when you work at the events. Mm-hmm. Do you work at the bar, or are you walking around selling things? What do you do?
I bartend. I do serve. Depends. Yeah. Depends what I do.
But it's at like concerts, or is it at big events?
Big events. It could be smaller events. I do catering stuff too. Yeah. So you're, as a server, you know, you pass appetizers and clean the plates. And I was like, when I do these things, let's say it's a big wedding, and they're, you know, they're having fun, drinking, dancing. They have no idea, not to be cocky, whatever, but who I am. They have no idea what I'm doing. And I am doing a lot of energy work and those things. And sometimes I feel like I move through, you kind of like go around, remove the plate, right? Or serve something. And I was like, I feel like a spider. I'm like weaving my web all through, but not to trap them, to elevate them.
That's right.
You know?
And that's why we're here too. Mm-hmm. That's the discovery of our own selves. Is I land there quite a bit. Is just be. Mm-hmm. Just be, Kristin. Just be. I don't have to be anything else. Just be. Mm-hmm. You know? And yeah, that getting caught in this density. Because what are we? The 6th generation of human beings? I think we are.
Yeah.
After the big flood of washing.
Are you counting in Tartaria and stuff? Because
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know what.
Because there was like Tartaria. I think there was like giants. And I would consider that one as a generation as well.
Sure. I don't know if they were part of. Were they its own human civilization, or was they a part of the human civilization?
I mean, they're talking about Tartaria as super advanced civilization with all the buildings that we have, like remnants of it.
Oh, okay.
And tall, like giants. Like if you go to the church, why the heck they have this super giant door if we are, you know, between 5 and 6 feet tall? Like, true. Why?
For the dramatic effect that you're walking into a house of power, and they want you to remember that. I mean, you could it could be all of the above.
Yeah.
Right. It could be all of the above.
But some places to close the door, the lock is super high.
Oh,
and
cool.
It's like, why?
Yeah.
I mean, for us, it's like, my question is why? If they are giants and tall, it's normal size for them.
Yeah.
So.
But I feel like they were there. So I don't want to mix them up with the Book of Enoch. Because the giants, the Book of Enoch.
I haven't read.
It's a book that was in the, so there, I'm going to screw my numbers up, but something like 80 some original books that were written for the Bible. And there's only like 60 some in the Bible right now. And so one of those books is called Book of Enoch. And Enoch, he is now an ascended master. He might have been at the time it was written too, or was on his way. Which he's not Metatron. Is he Metatron? No, he's the other gentleman that starts with an M. Anyhow, yeah. The one of the reasons for the flood that came in is because of, at the time, the giants were destroying the people, and so it was just savage. The savage time.
As far as I know, there were like different kind of giants.
The fallen angels that came down. There was 200 and some.
Then what are called in the?
It was in the Book of Enoch.
Nephilim.
The Nephilim, yes, that's them.
Yeah,
that's it. But that's the period.
The the bad guys, right? Nephilim is the bad guys?
And the Nephilim were the name of the giants. Yeah, and they just were destroyed because when they ate up all the food, they turned to eating the people. Because they didn't. I mean, they, you know. I know. I follow the whole. I love stories, and so some of them stay with me, and some of them don't. But the whole Anunnaki story that's been told, like for almost 500,000 years ago, and I'm sure it blends with the Lemurians and who's the other race?
Atlanteans?
Not yes, they are, but I want to say the Lemurians. What's one that starts with an S? There was another one.
Not Sumaki.
The Sumerians came later because Sumerians is how we learned of the Anunnaki and other beings. Anunnaki only the term Anunnaki refers to beings from above.
Right.
It's not a specific race. Yeah. It's just referring to beings from above. So in a way, you can be referencing what you were talking about, right? I'm assuming the wars, that this planet was one of a planet that people came to for refuge?
I don't think so. I think this planet was used by, so they were like, I guess, original humans that were seeded by Lyrans. And so Earth itself is kind of like experimental project.
Okay.
Because the planet itself supports so much life and everything. It's very unique. That's why it's called blooper, or, you know, because, and so it was chosen to see the humanity here. But then, I don't know the timelines again. The Anunnaki came, and then so Earth has a lot of resources. Trump was talking about the Earth, the ones that, oh my God, the gold, the crystals, all that stuff, and he was calling rare earth. So, so Earth has that, and then Anunnaki came for it because they needed those resources. Yeah, maybe I believe there's not just gold. They needed that stuff for them to either survive or enhance or something.
It was to cover the planet of theirs is Nibiru. And their, I don't know the right terminology, but whatever atmosphere, something about their volcano, all of their was self-protecting, and then then things didn't, and a hole in their atmosphere, and so things started dying on their planet, and they needed resources to come and
the golden dome.
But again, like, these are all stories.
I'm sure there is some truth in it. We don't know exactly what and how.
Right, but it's way more than I ever grew up with, and I love it. I love all these. I love these stories, and I let the truth of the story filter into what I meant to my subconscious, I guess. I let it filter in, and over a time, you start hearing it from so many different sources.
And if you were part of that story, whatever the truth was going on for you,
right,
then it's just you're gonna know it inside of you. You're gonna be like, yeah, that's that,
right.
And sometimes maybe you don't know how you know it, but you just know it because that's your past life memory, whatever. It's still with you there.
Right. One can't explain why something resonates. It just does.
Yeah, it just resonates.
It just does. And we don't have, I'm the kind of person like, I don't have to know. If it does, it does. Don't explain the science to me. I don't have to have science to reprove it. If it resonates, it resonates.
Right. That's the clear cognizance.
Yeah.
Because you know it, and you know it's true, but you don't know how.
Right.
You don't know how you know it.
Then I don't have to have proof.
Yeah. Because people who don't, like my mom, she's like, I need proof, show me. I'm like, Mom, okay, I can waste my time, dig up scientific paperwork for you, researches that are 200 pages. It's all scientific language. I can give you the proof, but when you're reading it, are you going to understand it? Are you trained to read scientific papers? You're not. So
that, and when you give proof, because there's proof right now. So if someone doesn't believe in, other intellectual beings being a part of our earth and within our earth, then it's their own belief because the proof has been given to us for years.
You're right.
Another example of that is someone really close to me made the statement, even if there is new information that proves or that the studies show differently, I don't want to know anything about the vaccines. So even though there is proof of something that counteracts the belief that you have, you don't want to know it.
Yeah, because they're afraid to be wrong.
It's not wrong. No, this isn't wrong. This is what this. I'll just restate it one more time so I can go with the flow. Okay. We have evidence to demonstrate the opposite of what you believe about vaccines. What is the fear of you not wanting to know this information? Why would someone say to me, even though I trust you, Kristin, that you can give me this information, I don't want to know. All that's telling me is this fear of losing the mind is stronger than knowing the truth. Because belief systems, when they crash on people, and they crash all at once, right? You and I, our belief systems, we've been challenging it for years, right? In the inner work that we're doing. And when we challenge our beliefs, that allows new beliefs to come in. So the judgment starts going away because our old belief systems we're not testing them against those old belief systems because we're kind of letting them go. Right? But when someone says, no, I believe so strongly in something and I don't want to know that the opposite is true, even though in their soul they know it, they don't want to be told it. Yeah, that's someone signaling to me, my belief system is so strong that I'm going to crumble. I'm going to shatter. That's like waking someone up from a coma. You don't do that. You don't wake someone up from it. Right? You've got to let them come out of their coma. And we have technology that helps people maybe accelerate that. But you don't wake people out of a coma. You'll kill them. You could kill them. And so I bring that up to say why we are also doing what we do, even though we don't know. Well, Chris says, what do you do? I don't know. I don't know what I do. I just exist. I exist. I am me. I plug and play. I don't know. How do you make money? I'm not making money, but I don't worry about it. I'm not worried about it. Everything around me, my tarot cards, my readings, my inner self says, don't have to worry about it. And I witness that. I don't have to worry about it. Right? So, but these are old beliefs that I've had for my whole life. You've got to work hard for your money. You have to take a job, maybe, and if you don't like it, you got to work, right? Like
sell your soul for 9 to 5, sit in a cubicle and what's the light? The white light.
Yeah, the horrible light.
Yeah, all that stuff, and sell your soul. Sell your soul, sell your everything, and then you're gonna,
But that's not how it's told to you.
Well, no, it's the programming is different. I believed in it. I have 2 bachelor degrees. I'm like, oh my God, it's gonna look so good on resume, and then when I had the graduation, I got the outfit, the hat, all the thing, and then I was in Chicago, and I had a large group of Mexican friends, and they always would be 2 hours late. So when I would have host parties, I would lie them about the time. I would be like, if the party is at 2, I would tell them come at 12, and they would show up at like 2:30. So, and they kind of figured out that I'm lying about time. So they were like, we thought you're gonna lie us about time about graduation. I told them actual time. By the time they showed up, the whole ceremony was over. The janitors are cleaning the floors, and then my friend showed up already at the end, and then she gave me a balloon, and I'm just standing there like a little kid with a freaking balloon, my diplomas and shit. And I was like, oh,
you
great.
didn't have anyone else there? that graduation
Well,
for you?
afterwards, but not for the
Not
thing.
that for during.
And I was thinking, I was kind of like
Oh.
set it up. I'm like, I don't care, whatever, it's just school. But actually, when I saw other students and they have families cheering, I was like, oh shit, But I manifested that. Because I was like,
know.
yeah, no, whatever, I don't care. But my inner child,
Yes.
when I saw that stuff, I was like,
That right there, that is such a responsible ownership statement. I got to use more of it. I manifested this. Where I am, I have manifested all of it. Yes, it's very true. That is very true.
And we're talking about 9 to 5s and everything. But you know what? I had
the challenging belief systems.
Yeah.
Like the awareness of when someone is just very clear. I don't want to know the information. I don't need to know it. Great. I don't need to tell it to you now. Honoring and respecting where someone is in their space.
And isn't it like, it's painful actually to watch that it's right there. All the golden gifts that person is waiting for, it's right there and they don't see it.
That's how our guides feel about us. Huh?
Oh, true. We're like, look right there.
Welcome to our world. Hang around you guys. Look right there.
Oh, you're
and then
right.
we go back to it's self-discovery though.
Yeah.
Self-discovery is the most powerful teacher in the universe is self-discovery. And
well, that's the whole game of the being a human, I feel like.
It is. It is, but we like to tell others how they should be discovering themselves.
Right. I'm really bad at it because the thing is like you see that stuff and you really want to help them because you see it, right? And then
only if they ask for it.
No, I need to wait for invitation. That's a human design thing. I need to wait for invitation because before I would overshare and then people think I'm criticizing them. I'm telling them how to live their lives. I was like, later, I was like, oh no, I'm just a messenger. Yeah, but sometimes it's
they didn't ask for the messenger. Yeah, it's kind of like a piece of mail showing up in your mailbox. You didn't ask for, so you're not going to open it. Looks like advertisement marketing. Just going to toss it away.
Yeah,
I've learned that lesson in my marriage.
But it still is like so painful to watch.
It's hard. It's a good lesson, though. It's a good lesson because, like I said, you may think you're being very gentle and calm, but it may be just a word that really triggers somebody that sets them off the cliff. And there's two ways to look at that. One is we are also mirrors to other people. And so...
And they are mirrors to us, too.
And they're mirrors to us, right, yeah. And so... even though the words you said was from love, because it's always love, trigger them to go into a rant or just triggers them or something. Being able to stand in that courage to say, wow, this wasn't me intentionally trying to force you off a cliff.
Yeah.
But maybe someone needed to push you off because you got to go off the cliff to know that you're going to be okay.
True. Because the thing is like, nothing happens nothing is coincidence. Everything is happening the way it should be, or, the way it's set. And then the third thing is we are co-creating. So if you pushed someone off the cliff, you're responsible for 50% of that creation. You're not 100%.
Right.
And they are created the other 50. So that means they did create that pushing off the cliff thing. They just couldn't do it consciously.
Right.
And everything aligned in a perfect way where, whoopsies.
Right.
I've been pushed off the cliff and it's oh. And then you hate those people or whatever. When you're like...
Well, and then you go and then you ask the same question, like, who's really pushing who off the cliff?
True. Yeah. But it's got more like when you're not aware, like when I was still asleep and I would blame because I was not good in relationships. I was like, my insecurities and what I'm realizing is I need to live alone. I can't live with anyone.
Yeah.
And especially if you have someone that you are not compatible. And then I would just blame my boyfriends and everything, right? And then I was, I don't know, 5 years ago. Again, it's like in the beginning of my awakening, I dug up all my journals. And I think it was COVID time, so I had plenty of time for me. And I started reading my journals, and some journals were from, one journal was from 20 years ago. And I didn't journal often, so I had one journal covering 10 years of my life, basically. And I'm reading it, and, I'm 20, 21, whatever. No, I'm in love, he's amazing, oh, he's an asshole, blah. And the repetitive cycle over and over and over for all those years. And then I was like, oh shit, I had the bird view of my life for 20 years.
Wow.
And I was like, oh shit, there's nothing to do with them. It was everything to do with me.
Yeah.
With my insecurities, with my jealousy stuff. Because if you're insecure, you're like losing control, you become jealous, you're, and all that stuff, that realization. And I was like, that's why when I had the bird view of me and understanding how I operate, that was just such a big revelation. And I'm like, oh my God, that's why journaling is so important.
Yeah.
And I do reread my journals. I try to do it like once a year just to see the progress, where I'm at, where I'm still stuck in a cycle, thinking the same thing. Where did I get out? What changed? It's like really good way to give yourself an assessment, how far you have gone. But again, approaching it without judgment.
That's really good.
Yeah, and journaling, it's like now I spend like $15-16, buy a really cool journal. The Peter Pauper Press make amazing journals. They're super beautiful. They have the gold rim on the pages. It's such a great quality, good art on it, and it has the texture, and it's like they're so cool. And then writing in them, the paper is like thick and just such a great quality. And also when you're reading it, it's not just like $1 notebook from dollar store, it's like I'm holding, it's like it gives more, not value, but the quality of the journal itself. It's like, that's me over there, when you're reading, it's like,
I love journals.
Yeah,
I do. I have a couple. I do. I pulled out my journal. In fact, I'm going to pull it out again when I'm after.
Because the end of it, it's almost end of the year. I'm like,
well, this journal was my senior year in high school. Yeah, it was very educational. Very educational. I was I'm very common themes. I have a boyfriend. I dated a guy for a little bit my senior year. But no, it was more me. It was very insightful. Very, so insecure.
Oh my God. That's why I started drinking. I couldn't have conversation, nothing. It's just like I can't function. I need a couple drinks in me just to relax.
Yeah.
Crazy stuff.
Yeah, me too. I started drinking when I was 17 or 18. But I went off to college. So it was more of a weekend thing. It was more social. But no, I had my fair share of getting drunk. But I usually was the responsible one, the DD.
Oh, really?
Yeah, my journey with alcohol started late, according to society, right? And it journeyed. I still have alcohol in my life, but it's back more when I first started out. Like I have a glass of wine with dinner. But anyhow, it was my comfort blanket as well too. Yeah. Now I carry my comfort blanket.
Yeah. Whatever works, if it makes you feel better in a way, why not?
Yeah, yeah, because as you go through the remembering, the realization, the awakening, the enlightenment, the whole. Did I write that down? I liked that. I wrote this down. Did I write it down? Knowledge, there's a difference between awakening and enlightenment. Oh, here it is. I did write it down. Yay. Awakening, new. Enlightenment is an internal job with external service. So I think you go through an awakening process, right? Like we were just talking about, challenging our old beliefs, wakening up to the poisoning of our air. It's not that just started. That's been happening for eons, right? So it's just we're awakening to it because it's new, and it's new knowledge now. And now that you have knowledge about it, what do you do about it, or kind of stuff. But the work we're doing, inner work inside, to release those old beliefs and the shadows and acceptance of all of us, is enlightenment. And so it can then flow out of us in service. And so then NPCs or others, we recognize them for where they are in their own awakening process. Yeah. But I lost my train of thought.
The enlightenment and awakening. You're talking about that?
Yeah. As you go through this process, I was trying to find out what you call this process. Oh, yes. It's the opening of the vulnerability. It's the being comfortable of being raw.
Naked.
And naked.
Yeah.
And so there are external things like an actual blanket that can, it just subtly brings just your protection of your subconscious. Or I mean, everything in life is a metaphor. It's for something bigger than what we really think it's for.
But I was thinking in terms of like protection, you're thinking that it's maybe give you comfort, the blanket and whatnot, right? But what I notice, the more you're waking up, the more sensitive you become to the environment, everything, because it's not just environment. You start feeling other people's feelings, thoughts, emotions, all that stuff. So like the rawness, I notice it's like we start blending those energies together. And if someone's energy doesn't resonate with mine, it makes me feel extremely uncomfortable. And not because I'm like weak or something, because it creates dissonance. It's kind of like the sound that I don't know, the way the song needs to sound, and someone is singing completely off, like that dissonance.
Like, wait.
And it's like, that's why I feel like the physical props, or even when we stand, like I do this a lot when I feel the energy doesn't match. I'm protecting my energy field. So physical props, anything that people use, it's not because they're weak or something. It's just they're so sensitive to the environment and who comes in the environment, and you need to use some kind of prop. That's why I'm like, when I go and work in stadiums, I bought this pendant. It's like two tensor rings made of copper, and there's some crystals in it. And the guy who makes them, he works with angelics, and his wife is Arcturian hybrid, Vivian Chauvet.
Oh, I know she is.
Yeah. So her husband Peter, he works with angelics. So I bought the pendant from him. It was $500, but it was at the Conscious Life Expo, and he's kind of like talking about how it works. And I had the money. I got my tax return or something. I was like, fuck that shit, I'm buying it.
That's right, baby.
And I've been using it, and it's literally, sometimes I forget to put it on, and I see the difference. Not because I'm clinging to the pendant, but I do feel the difference when I work a shift, and there's like, let's say 40,000 people in a stadium, and I'm not wearing it, versus when I'm wearing it, I set it, I connect to it every time, and I go full power now. So the tensor rings, they protect your energy field. And then when I work those shifts, even if they may be like very long, I'm not as exhausted, I'm not as drained when I wear that thing. And it's that one particular is for Metatron.
Oh, lovely. Yeah. I know. I learned that with taking the crystal class. I love how Dee described, like I brought my totem, my spider totem. that the energy of the crystal, when you bring it into your field, then your field is responding to the energy of the crystal. And then, so that makes sense. So the energy of that pendulum or pendant, then is blending with your aura field to then put the protection around.
A lot of people think it's not a lot of, but sometimes I feel like people think that you are weak when you're using all those things, but they don't understand the meaning of them.
Self-preservation will always be.
Yeah.
Self-preservation will always be, and we shouldn't. There's no need to judge others on how they self-preserve.
Because somehow I have the program still that I'm working on. I'm feeling guilty. Like I have this thing of no matter what I do, often I feel guilty, and then I have this need to explain myself, and then I have this inner battle because I don't have to explain myself, but if I don't, then I feel guilty. And then if I'm explaining myself to someone who's not in the resonance, I'm just giving my energy away. And then I'm recently with my roommate, he's not aware of it, but his higher self, obviously we had a contract, he's challenging me greatly in any avenue of life, and I'm challenging him too, because he's only 30 years old, and typical life, parties, drinks, drugs, alcohol, messy, and just all the environment is so the whole environment where I live, it goes very against my true essence. And I think it's teaching me the acceptance, the boundaries, all that stuff. But I feel like today especially, I felt that our contract is over, so I can move out.
When is that?
What?
The contract is over.
Oh, we didn't sign anything. I'm thinking from more
but you're coming up with a
karmic, spiritual.
Yeah.
That whatever we needed to learn from each other, we're done. My thing is I need to more learn to express myself, but I know when I'm something hurts, I don't know really how to express myself in a calm manner. Being an adult, in my mind, I'm screaming and I'm calling him names and all this stuff because I don't know how to deal with my emotions. I haven't mastered that yet. But when the conversation, when time to talk, I'm again, tuning with myself. I'm speak from your heart. And then conversation is really nice. Yeah. But again, I'm not really delivering till 100% what I want to express.
Yeah, I know that feeling.
And it just comes back, and then I'm boiling this inner going on. And it's oh God. I could be reading a book, doing whatever, but this inner just boiling these emotions, and it's I don't know, maybe
you sure that's not ego? Because here's my sense. I don't know if it's my sense, because you said it. I heard you say it. Mm-hmm. The lesson of loving and embracing all that is. Because that isn't who you perceive yourself to be anymore. You've grown out of that and matured and emotionally matured through it. And that's what you're doing now. You're emotionally maturing through that part of you. And all he's doing is being a mirror. Because you could say, oh, yep, I did that. I've done that. I did that. Yeah. How many other people did I irritate through that? Okay, I love you. You're being a 30-some-year-old, and I'm going to learn. I'm learning what I'm learning through it. Yeah. I mean, half the time I'm wondering, do I even need to have a conversation with the person about it? Because at the end of the day, it's still me. Like what my husband and I are going through something right now. And like you just said, you sit there and you're like, okay, that was a conversation. It was immature and emotional. And it was heartfelt. And then afterwards, it's like, oh my gosh, I could have said all this and this and this. And I didn't, this is what I really meant. Go through the analysis of it. And then I'm like, no, I say what I said because that's all he was ready for. Yeah. And that's all I was ready for.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, it's the ego. The ego's the one kind of going, he said this about you, and it's not true. And I'm like, I know it's not true. Well, why did you say it then? I don't know. I don't know why he said it. It's driving me bonkers too, but I know it's not true about me, but in his eyes, it's true. And so then that's his truth, and I know my truth, and just leave it be. Because you can't keep trying to convince someone.
Yeah.
Like I said, I had someone say, even though you have proof that this is true, I don't want to know it.
Yeah.
Okay.
But another thing that's going on in the world is that, and I think that conflict, what I'm experiencing, should I say it nicely, through logical mind, through analysis, through ego, or should I just express my emotions raw, the way they are? The raw expression of emotions is the divine feminine energy waking up that's been suppressed for 10,000 years. When we were tapping into the patriarchy, so patriarchy was created to suppress feminine energy. That's why like 3 lower chakras are majority of women are blocked. And to channel the energy into the brain, into the mind. So in that way, humanity was evolving through the mind instead of like instinctively maybe reacting things and through the emotions. So we reached the level already, and now the patriarchy is kind of like stepping back, and then the divine feminine is waking up. Obviously we're going into the balance, but because the feminine energy was suppressed for so long, like think about it, women, oh, you can't scream, oh, you need to be nice, oh, you need to be pretty, oh, you need to be comfortable for other people, you can't be who you are, you can't be the fucking witch, you can't be this. I can be all of them, but the thing has been always suppressed and always judged, and that's why that program for me, maybe it would be very healthy for me and for my roommate if I just scream the shit out of maybe it sounds immature or whatever, but what if I truly express my trueness and my whatever I feel at that moment, and I express it and I scream and I maybe break a freaking plate, and then set it down and the energy is released, versus me now boiling in my own misery for 3, 4, whatever weeks, even months, trying to figure out logically how to say it so I don't hurt his feelings. What about my fucking feelings?
That's right. Yeah. Well, it's the 3 to 4 weeks of the boiling.
Yeah.
Because that's you. That's all you.
Yeah.
That's all you. And so the question becomes I said this to a woman yesterday, and I had the strangest it was so bizarre. It was really bizarre. I was enjoying a meal, and a woman sat next to me at the bar to do the same thing. She's on her phone, and she's like, no, bad, no, get off, no. What is she doing? She's talking to her dog
through the camera.
Yeah, and all of a sudden she's like, bad dog, no, get off, get it. I'm like, oh my gosh, what are we turning into? And then and before I leave, because I'm hearing this whole conversation she's having with this dog, and then she's talking to the lady who's serving her, like, my dog, and she is in so much trouble when I get home, and then I'm just like, your dog won't remember anything of this. They don't do that. They live in the present moment. Please remember that.
What a beautiful message.
Because they don't. Animals live in the present. They don't. And so I just thought it was bizarre. And so the boiling component, her getting in the car and driving home, and her boiling and taking it out on the dog. Well, yeah, the dog was on the table at the moment you caught it, and doesn't understand what a computer's doing, telling it to get, like, you're not, like, come on, put yourself in the dog's, like, position, and then you're going to go home and take all of this boiling out on the dog. And so that's what I think of, like, because I've been not boiling, but I've been simmering in our conversations, right? We simmer and we kind of process, and I really meant, it's like, we're only talking to ourselves. Yeah. And so there really doesn't need to be any sort of explosive get it out of you, because you already are. You're the simmering, the boiling. What happens? Water evaporates. So but that's the question. Are you letting yourself boil up so your pot can overflow and take it out on someone else, or let it go out? Or are you going to be like, wow, I'm in a boiling place and I'm going to do what I can to simmer it so I can actually say to him, look, I got my issues going on and I'm projecting them on you. I don't like that. I think you're doing the same, whether you agree with that or not. But at the end of the day, I just want to live in a very peaceful, homestead and let the boiling water boil out just within you.
Yeah.
Because it's you.
True. I mean, I never really expressed. No, once I was but I wasn't yelling. I was just being very because he was partially still drunk, and then he let the dogs out, and my cats were outside, and then my cat escaped, and it was just I was angry for someone being irresponsible, but again, it wasn't intentional. It was just drunk. I've been drunk, yeah, I don't remember stuff. And then it was in the middle of summer when we didn't have the AC, so it's kind of all together, not just that. So
I think moments of anger are healthy.
Yeah,
I think moments of anger because it's a present moment. It's an emotion being expressed.
Yeah,
it's the lingering.
My problem is that,
and women do that more than men, by the way.
Yeah, because we have more emotions.
That's why men fight.
Yeah,
that's why men go to bars and fight. They get their aggression out and they're done.
And we used to scream and break dishes. Now we can't do that.
Now we're very passive aggressive.
Yeah, now we're here's the antidepressant, you crazy bitch.
Yeah, I see this. I see in society. I even witness it in my own marriage. The feminine and masculine energy balancing, because we got to balance it within ourselves first. And and I'm balanced. I know that. I've got a lot of masculine energy. I've got a lot of masculine energy, and I've been working on my feminine energy of balancing all of that. And when you're with the opposite sex who isn't willing to accept their feminine, they fight it. I can see that. I can see that in the men, that they're fighting the feminine energy within them, because they're fighting the patriarch energy just as much as we are, but differently. Yeah. And so that's the balance. We also are witnessing it when we're with other people, is that masculine, feminine energy.
Yeah.
That's why there's so many more women that's gravitated. That's why the population of women are in this spiritual woo-y space more so than men, because it's more natural and more natural comforting. And that we're all finally I can be just me. I can be the bitch if I want to, because my fellow bitch understands, you know. But men are in a very confused state right now, because it's been so long that they are to be the provider and the conqueror and the protector. And when they can just witness that there's nothing to fight against anymore.
True, yeah.
But when they're not in that role, they're not doing that role, then society has programmed to,
and who are they, right? There's actually 2 movies I can plug in regarding all this. I just watched 2 days ago, The Arrival. Have you seen it? It's about the alien ship just landing on the Earth, and 12 alien ships, and they call them shells, but they look like this, almost like a contact lens, black contact lens, and this way, and they are. They look like what do you call them? Octopus almost, and they come in to communicate with people. There's more to it. I'm not gonna, if you watch it.
Is there a species that are octopus? More octopus?
In general?
In general?
Yes.
Who are they? Do you know?
As far as I know, that those were originally intended to inhabit the Earth, but something was off and they didn't give them the Earth, and then humans were planted, seeded before. Yeah, they were candidates for it.
Because I had in one of my ceremonies, plant-based ceremonies, I had an experience where, like, something was pulled out of my body, and what it was a big tree trunk, and it was roots were coming out of it, and inside the tree were all these mushed, like people's faces were all mushed like this, like they're trying to get out of the tree, but they couldn't, and it was just taken away. And I was not sad about it. I was like, felt this gratitude about it. And then 3 octopus. We had like a mother one, and then 2 were with her right after that. Like, they were the ones that kind of removed that. And then I just remember peace and calm, and it was so beautiful. And they'll visit but I haven't had a ceremony in quite some time. So, but they will visit. So I never even thought about octopus.
They're very, very intelligent.
Yeah.
I don't know there's something, I don't know, some kind of glitch that they didn't make it to for the Earth.
Yeah.
I don't know why, but
maybe that's why I was always in the hollows.
Oh.
Maybe I was an octopus at one time.
But they live in the water.
Yeah. They live in water.
In the ton.
Yeah. I mean, past lives could be a rock. Past life could be a blade of grass, actually, through our
true.
Development. Have you seen the movie Everything Right Now?
Everywhere All at Once, yes.
I want to watch it again. I watched it 2 or 3 times. I'm like, okay, I'm watching this in a whole different light now of what this means. And I love it when the mom and the daughter are rocks.
Yeah. And the whole thing, and then the dark humor in it,
so good. But it's like it's just so, it's so good. Then the mom's rock is trying to move towards the daughter rock, and the daughter rock squiggling.
Yeah.
Anyhow,
there's another movie. Speaking of
the rival, and what was the other one?
Barbie.
Oh, I loved Barbie. Yes.
So the patriarchy, and then so it really resembles. It literally shows like almost, I feel like, human history.
Completely. I completely.
We should do. I want to do at the Your Cosmic Connection.
Yeah.
Get it together and have a movie night and watch Barbie, so we can discuss it. And then also, I follow Lady Wendy Kennedy, and she channels 9-dimensional Pleiadians.
Oh.
So they do webinar once a month, and it's like $22. So I purchased the last one, and I'm like, I need to listen again because there's a lot of information in it. And I'm like, I want to see if I can download the app so I can play it on TV in Cosmic Connection, and then there could be something else that we could watch, because there's light language transmission going on there as well, and it would be whoever resonates. It's mind-blowing information, actually. Yeah, so we could do.
We listened to astrology class on Tuesday. Suanda brought a woman, or played a webinar for us that I think she had paid for. I was going to see if I could find that woman's name who did the webinar. She's in her 80s, and
good.
And I love it because it's, I don't know about the one you referred, I'm assuming it's going to be, but like, it's just all about love. It's just your vibration and your frequency, and
because that one is the Pleiadians come through, right? The Wendy Kennedy, when she channels, it's Pleiadians from 9th dimension. So they don't have physical bodies. They're like, we don't need it because, they're ascended to the point. And they're talking about actually with, when you mention the frequencies, they're talking about it. It's like now in the next 16 months, there's going to be so much coming in for us. It's basically our psyche won't be able to handle it if we start digging where it's coming from, past traumas, past lives, all that stuff. And they said, I think they said that basically if you try to dig in the past, it's just literally garbage. We don't need to do that, because the level we are being pushed into the frequencies, we don't need to psychoanalyze every little thing. And they were saying it because the true life is in the moment of now. you decide how do you want to feel, and you, every time you fall off the wagon, realign.
Nice.
And that part, it's like mastering your frequency, no matter how shitty things are.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, you can be, I mean, I've been boiling and, with this, and then when I'm like, calm down, I was like, wait. And then my ego doesn't want to, because the
Right.
ego is like feeding of all those emotions and drama that's going on in my head. And I'm like, I realize that I'm mastering that, because now I can switch to when consciously I can switch to the high vibration. I'll let go whatever I was boiling in a much shorter time than before.
So how do we get, okay, thank you. So how do we get, if you think about the boiling, right?
Mm-hmm.
The ruminating of whatever it is, the conversation we're going to have with that person, right? We're ruminating on, and this, right? Okay, and this, we're ruminating, and there's energy that starts going around.
So it's picking up momentum.
It's picking up momentum. Okay, how I want that energy. I want to take, universe, I'm asking. I want to take that kind of energy and I want to place it in a positive way. I want to ruminate on something. And it's going to be like this, and it's going to be so cool, and we're going to be like when I plan somebody's, I'll use the most recent fair we had, right? It's not like I'm ruminating on it all the time, but I'm thinking about it all the time. Like,
and you become excited,
nice.
right?
Yeah. You build the momentum, and I think about it. So like having a pet project that just is in the middle. No, but I'm like you. And I do the first 5 things. I'm like, oh, I'm done. I'm so bored. I don't want to finish it. I'm doing this coaching thing. It's a free coaching class for 3 weeks, and you listen to their videos and you do a couple posting, and I'm all in. I did posting number 1 and number 2. I think I did number 3. Yeah, I haven't done anything since.
Well, sometimes you don't need to eat the whole cake. Sometimes you just eat the one slice and be done with it.
Right.
I had so many courses I'd taken that I didn't finish. Yeah. And my ego is like, no, you need to finish. Maybe it's not the whole thing I need to eat. No.
That's true.
Because if I have the buffet and everything looks great, I don't need to eat the whole buffet.
That's right.
Even if I pay the money for it. It's like, no, I'm just going to eat, whatever. And maybe come later. Like if you bought the course and it's yours, I look at everything again, not in a linear way, but more in a spiral. And when you started there and you're going up and up, and then you come back to the point, but already with, you evolved from point then and now.
Yeah.
So you come in with a more expanded consciousness, and then you pick up on that subject, and maybe you're ready for it. Maybe you needed to have it so you can come back 2 years later and you understand it from a very different perspective. And actually it's like, that's why I had that course. Maybe it has a completely different reason why you sign up for the thing. And I would be like, oh, I need to finish everything because I have like whatever planets in Virgo, it's like organized and da-da-da. And like when I was younger, if I would read a book, and even if the book would be super boring, I had to finish reading it. I just needed the completion, the feeling of completion. And now it's like, whatever, it's like I allow myself not to finish and not to feel guilty about it. And then at some point someone to come back, and it's like, you're like weaving this beautiful fabric and you're using